Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Flex Zone All In podcast. Flex Alexander right here.
Buddy Lewis.
What's up, y'all? I'm Kennelia. Buddy excited because he's suited and booted.
He's
y'all.
suited and booted. Suited and
Suited
booted.
and
Suited
booted.
and booted.
I got a little function to attend later.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
a
okay.
bunch of lawyers. Speaking of lawyers, listen, let's just jump right in.
Legally speaking.
Legal action.
Let's just jump right in. Okay. The slap heard round the world.
Oh, God.
Now, guys, y'all listen. Before you even get started, when we're recording this podcast, the slap just happened. So just so y'all
That's
know,
right. Yeah,
it
the
just
slap
happened.
just happened. Yeah, the slap just happened. So yeah. I mean, I've seen everybody from Bill Maher to Jim Carrey to, somebody mama in the kitchen give their opinion on doing a whole blog on it.
And we're about to give ours.
A whole blog on
Oh
it.
yeah.
So we would be remiss if we did not just step into that world and just figure out what the hell happened.
Well, I mean, and like Flex said, everybody was talking about it. Everybody has a different perspective from a different viewpoint, and I think for us, and maybe I won't even speak for all of us. Well, yeah, we're all comics, but a lot of comics are standing on one side of discussion and an opinion. Now, when I'm talking about me, I'm on the woman side, I'm on the comic side, I'm on the female comic side, I'm on the civilian side, and I'm on the hood side. I literally am like there's 5 different perspectives that I'm looking at it from. But I do want to say at first, Will was wrong for it going down the way that it went down. In my opinion, it was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
When it was happening and after it happened, did I look at him and I was like, oh, this some old trauma that done came up and is showing its ugly head in this way? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because, Will Smith in his book and on this whole press run for the book, and he just been having these conversations. Will has openly said that he has struggled with this idea of feeling like a coward his entire life because he was not able to protect his mother from the abuse she endured by the hands of his father when he was a little boy.
Right.
So he's felt like a coward this whole time.
Right. Yeah.
What happens when cowards we back against the wall and you sick of the shit? You slap somebody.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it was at the Oscars. So come on.
Yeah. It just. And my thing is, I'm still a little, like I wasn't even there, and I'm shaking. I'm just because I'm looking at the magnitude of it. I'm looking at the beautiful side of it. Will Packer is producing it. It was beautifully black. I mean, beautifully diverse. And for it to happen for that moment, it takes away from him winning. And you forgot what Will Packer did. You forgot that Questlove, got his award, right after that. Then you think about Sam Jackson, whose award wasn't even televised.
Bro, that was hurtful.
Well, they never televised that one though.
But no,
the governor's award, they don't televise that.
Yeah, they did.
No, they don't. It's always like a day or two before. It's never televised. They do a better job of showing clips.
But that's something that should have been televised.
Yeah.
He is the.
They didn't televise Spike. When Spike got it, they didn't televise it.
The leading grossing actor in the history of Hollywood, and you don't take a special moment out to, acknowledge that and show that. That's so it was so much going on, man. What are you thinking, buddy? What's your thought? I know you thinking something. I already know you. I already know.
Well, I got a problem with somebody saying we need to heal and the healing needs to begin. Well, we need to start healing Chris's jaw. How about that first? That's the first bit of healing that needs to come up. I'm like, honestly, Kennelia, I'm with you. I'm coming at it from a lot of different angles. A lot of different perspectives, and reason being is, first, I kind of have a relationship kind of with many of the players in this game. Right. I worked on a movie with Jada Pinkett back in the day called Woo. She was very, very nice, very, very amenable and friendly and jovial, and she was a nice lady. I think she was. If I would have said anything about her, I would have said she's one of the cool people in the business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've met Will on several occasions, from the golf course to small events, and we've had a moment of conversation. Due to our interactions. You know how it is. Flex,
And in layman's terms, y'all know every damn body.
Yeah,
so
and Chris,
they know everybody.
I know everybody. And Chris Rock, one of the first paid gigs I had ever in this business was on a show with me, Joe Torre, and Chris Rock out at Cal State Northridge. So I know the players.
Yeah.
The sad thing is I come at it from a lot of different angles, like I said, as a comic, as a black man, as a former husband, as a trying to protect a daughter, a wife at the time, there are a lot of different angles to come from this. And it's sad, man, because you look at this and you go, from the comic perspective, you go, damn, Chris, that was the joke. All the jokes, all the people, all the things you could pick on.
Right.
You gravitate toward picking on this woman, this black woman who's going through some stuff, and you did it before.
This is my question, though. Pause right there. Was it in the prompter? Was it written by the writers, or was it off the cuff?
I can guarantee you it wasn't in the prompter.
He does not let them see
what he's
going to say.
Got it. Okay. So that was on him. Okay.
There are certain people in the business, and I've written on a lot of shows. There's a little section that, when I tell you those things are scripted down to infinitum, they go by and it's scrutinized.
He's throwing out big
He's
words.
trying to say because he be in the writers' room, so he was trying to say like I was backstage.
Yeah,
I had credentials.
Big words, infinitum.
Yeah. We know, buddy. We know you was back. You know you be writing.
Somebody finna get slapped.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
Why you yelling? Ain't trouble, Jane.
No, but everything is scrutinized. They go over and over and over that stuff to like the moments before the show. But some comics, some people are given that special thing. It's a little parenthesis that says ad lib. And they throw that in a prompter and they don't say nothing. And even if something was written for Chris wasn't paying no attention to that.
Yeah.
The only thing he was paying attention to was the little piece, and the award, blah 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 blah. The only thing that's unscripted on those shows are what the
it's the toss. It's the toss to the
toss to the to the awardee.
Right. Yeah.
So Chris went out there and just went on a tangent, man, and you're like, wow, all the stuff, all the people in the room. But you go, that's what happened. That's what comics do.
Yeah.
This is what we do. And that joke, man, is, when I say benign, and at a roast, at your domino game, we were at the house playing spades, that joke would have went by and nobody would have said nothing.
Yeah.
It was.
But do you think it's part of the history of 2016 of him hosting? And
I would put money on that. That, like you said, there's lingering trauma.
Yeah.
Bro, think about that. In 2016, when he hosted, he went off on a tangent on them for not showing up and the Oscars not being black enough.
And him saying that her not showing up was like him not being invited to Rihanna's panties.
Right. You weren't invited.
And then he was like, doesn't she do TV? So there's definitely some angst there, and on the other side too as well. And I'm not giving this that excuse, but you learned some more about Chris. Didn't know that he had it's like a social developmental
he
issue.
Was bullied as a kid,
and
man.
He's on the spectrum in some.
Right.
He said he's not. He said he's not. He said he went through a battery of tests. He's not at Asperger's. It's like Asperger's.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like NVLM or something, and he's socially
disconnected sometimes.
And for years, I know Chris. For years, I'm thinking he ain't like me. I would see him, go to talk to him, and he look at you with that look like this, and then walk away, and and I saw him at the Clipper game one time, and it was almost like he's like, let me get out of here before someone talks to me, and then I finally saw him one night, we're at the Comedy Store. Dave Chappelle was at the Belly Room, and Chris were there. So, and Marlon. So afterwards, we go to this place on La Cienega I've never been to. It was all you saw was like vines on the outside of the door. I never saw this place ever. So we went in
The
there.
Chateau Marmont?
No, it's not.
The Marmont?
It's on La Cienega.
He's talking about that down the street. It used to be a nightclub. Yeah.
So I go up to him this time and I said, "Hey man," I'm like, "Yo, we good?" Like, I said, "I've known you forever. Like, it's always seemed like you didn't want to speak with him." I said, "Yo, I have nothing but the most respect for you, and I've always looked up to you." And he was like, "Man," he said, "No, I appreciate that, man." He said, No, everything's good." And we've spoken literally on Facebook and, a couple of times. I've hit him up, about a script or whatever. He said, "Hey, send it to, this guy," and da-da-da. And was always amenable and spoke. But I didn't know. But now I understand it's this awkwardness with him. It's almost like comedy is obviously the refuge, and that's where his power lies. And again, not saying that, hey, that's okay to just say whatever, but for so many years you're able to do that, and then the timing of someone dealing with some stuff internally, like you spoke on, it was like a time bomb waiting.
Yeah.
And could Will have done it differently? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Should they take away his Oscar? No. If that's the case, you need to go down the list.
There's the list. Yeah. Should OJ lose his Heisman?
Well, and then people throw out the argument. I agree. I don't necessarily think they should take the award. I do think the industry has a way of punishing Black people for doing things. I think he in for it going forward. They are talking about banning him from the Academy, maybe suspending him, not inviting him back to the award show. I honestly, I don't think that they'll ever nominate him ever again. Even he could have the most stellar performance of his life. That brother ain't getting on the ballot.
And I'll say this, even though these things weren't done in public, and I'm not going to go into it, there are Academy Award-winning directors that dabble into some things.
Oh yeah,
that are unscrupulous. That are
how many racist bigots? Come on, man. We can go down the list of a sundry of characteristics.
No, Harvey Weinstein is in jail for raping people.
Right. So
and he ain't got none of his taken. But people try to throw in that argument of like he did it at the event. That's semantics at this point. It's irrelevant. So this is my question. One, do y'all feel like what do y'all feel like, if any, the punishment should be? Like if y'all had to give Will, like reprimand him for something.
Maybe a suspension.
What would y'all say?
Maybe a suspension. Or maybe a suspension. If he's nominated, maybe, his nomination is null and void for that year. I don't know, but I wouldn't say you just totally banish somebody who has prided his career on, and that's the other thing. I mean, he's spent so much time in his career being the guy that everyone loves.
Yes.
I don't think it should be torn down that quick. I listen to Jim Carrey and I listen to all these people, and I understand the disappointment. I get that, but it's almost the argument of can you separate the artist from the incident or the person from the incident?
Yeah, no, that's true, and I'm along those same lines. This the first time we ever seen Will Smith do something publicly wild like this. We haven't seen it. Now, people can say the same thing can be said to like I was saying this, and one of my friends was like, "You making excuses the same way when like a white person a cop accidentally shoots somebody." Mm-hmm. We'd be like, how when we hear other people like, "Well, it was just an accident," which I understand, but and this could part of me growing up in a city like Flint. Somebody getting slapped don't really traumatize me. Like, I don't believe in violence, and I'm not a fighter. I don't like aggression. But when I saw the slap, I was shocked. But I didn't leave and I wasn't crying in the corner. Like, I'm so traumatized. I've literally seen people smoking crack. So I don't. But I'm not really affected.
Yeah, and I joke with y'all. Hey, listen, I pledged to Omega Sci-Fi. I've seen.
Listen, pledging period.
Pledging
But
period.
let's be clear.
In the
when they
80s.
were above ground.
When
Yes,
they were
that's
above
it.
ground.
They're
And
above
I'm talking
ground.
about now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to
Omega
be.
Psi Phi is not a hazing organization.
We
do
do not
condone
haze.
Right,
hazing.
We do not hate. Hazing is bad.
It's
We do not
not
condone.
good.
It's not good.
Neither
But let me just
We don't.
men
explain.
of Phi Beta Sigma. We
We
don't
do
Listen.
not condone.
Listen, I can guarantee you there's some people in the Army, there's some Navy SEALs, there's some people that have gone through stuff that's completely and utterly, like, really, seriously,
Yeah.
and my thing is this, and this is the question I want to ask a woman. Did you find that move chivalrous or gallant that he went up there and defend? Did you?
I saw a lot of women say that.
Like that's what I want a man to do. Because I'm like, you know what? Now it seems like that might be the norm now, or some new normal that's what you're supposed to do. And I'm like,
no. So yes and no. Do I want to feel like my man will ride
over
for
a
me?
joke.
No, but do I want take the joke out of it? Do I want to feel like if I'm with somebody, I need to know you got my back. I got yours, so you need to have mine. Would I have wanted my person to do that at that moment? No, because I understand the consequences. Would I stick by him if he did though? Yes. I'll be like, well, he did what he had to do. So when people say that he was protecting his family, he even said, referenced it in his speech.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I understand that perspective. I would not have told him, and Jada did not tell him, go up there and slap his ass. So I don't feel like I would have done the same thing.
But did her energy, because he laughed initially in turn.
Nobody's energy,
and he saw her face. And then he completely, it was different. Like, he laughed at the joke, then he turned, and then she cut the eyes, kind of looked, and then it was different.
I think that was trauma and the realization of what was going on colliding. Because we roll, black women, we gonna roll eyes at everything. If that's the case, Will would have been whooping niggas' asses for the last 20-some years. Because Jada gonna cut the eye.
Oh, yeah.
She gonna roll her eye.
She gonna let you know.
I don't think her reaction warranted that. I think it was that simple fact that, one, oh shoot, it's not funny. She hurting about it. Two, here we go again with the jokes about my family. Here you go. You making me feel like less of a man on Oscar night. Here we go again. Chris Rock, you said what you said in 2016.
Right.
Let me walk up here and slap you. I think it was just as fast as that in real time.
Yeah, it was real time. I think it was. Yeah, I agree. And I would have been really like, okay, there you go. If he'd have just did the yelling part, when Chris did the joke and said, keep my wife's name out your mouth. Like, I'd be like, okay, I can ride with that. I just did not see that coming. I literally, I just, it's so much, buddy. It's so much, because knowing the dynamics of them, history, knowing Chris, knowing Will, and you just don't know when trauma's going to show up. And seeing him in his speech, just seeing that, saying, yo, you're supposed to sit back and let people talk crazy about you, and we got to allow that, and you got to smile. That comes from a place.
He was talking, he was sitting on that.
Again, not saying it was okay.
He was sitting with that.
I'm not.
So I'm definitely not saying that.
No, I am not. I am not condoning in any way, shape, or form, the violence in the moment. I am saying, I don't want to give pause or give credence to folks going, see, this is what happens. This is why, that's why we need to check IDs on black people. And, they're violent. I don't want that. And I think part of the thing is, I said, Will needed that discretion. He needed that discretion in that moment that black police have when they're confronted with white people.
Right.
You've never seen a video of a black cop body slamming a 14-year-old child. But you haven't seen it. Why? Because they have they have clarity in that moment. You've never seen a black cop, male or female, body slam choke an old white woman. Yeah. No matter how much trash they talk. Why? Because there's a bit of clarity that comes, and you gotta have clarity in those moments. And I mean, cops have to deal with the abuse coming at them. I mean, you know, just an sundry amount of abuse. You get what I'm saying? It's coming at a cop, but they have to have clarity.
But some are given grace when they don't have clarity.
And I'm just saying,
not
us.
But this is the other question. Do y'all think the reaction and the conversation would be the same if somebody like Bradley Cooper would have slapped Ricky Gervais? If Ricky, because Ricky go in. When Ricky hosting, he go in. And you can look at the crowd, they be hating Ricky. They hate Ricky. If Bradley would have been like, I'm fucking fed up, walked up, sat back down, walked off the stage. Would the same thing be happening?
But see,
they probably would have been like, he probably would have had a lot to probably say, yeah, that's what he gets.
Yeah, and Ricky Gervais, half the time I think he's inebriated anyway when he's up there doing that stuff. So there's a certain amount of grace that's given to comics that do that. You know, can you imagine somebody slapping Don Rickles?
Oh yeah, no.
I mean, Don Rickles was awful with people. He was racist. He was bigoted. He said all kind of misogynistic stuff, bro. No one would think, okay, and he did it in front of straight Italian gangsters.
Yeah.
Do you think somebody would think, oh, you know what? I'm finna go slap the shit out of, I'm gonna go slap Don Rickles. No.
But you know what? With that said, to me, one thing that does stand out, and I think we're not talking enough about it, the amount of arrogance you have to have, or the amount of just balls to be able to feel like you can walk on the stage during a live award show, slap the host, and sit back down and
just chill.
And chill. Like, to me, that's I'm like, oh, when he was walking up, I was like, oh, he think this his shit. He said, this my city. And that to me stuck out a lot more than some of the other elements. It was him whop and then just going back and just having a good old time.
I ain't gonna say Will Smith had a moment of white privilege.
Yeah, he did. He did.
That was the ultimate.
It's wealthy. It can be a wealthy privilege.
That was some white privilege that just, you know what? I actually think I am legend. I can do something inside, because Kennelia, you hit it on the mark. How arrogant do you, how ballsy do you have to be to go, you know what? I'm so angry.
I can get away with this.
I'm not only do I get away with it, I'm going to slap a grown man on TV.
Live TV.
On live TV in front of 11 million people. Dog. And see, let me tell you something, man. I get it. It's a boxing match. They had those weigh-ins, boxers getting each other's face. They've been talking trash, you dealing with, Kobe Covington, and you Usman, you had to listen to them call you names and talk about your mama and your girlfriend and your kids, and somebody might get slapped somebody get punched or slapped.
Mm-hmm.
You're on a football field, you listening to some dude on the other side of football, you getting dragged, getting your ass kicked, and all of a sudden, you see him in the locker room, it's on.
Yeah, you got to see me, yeah.
Yeah. How many basketball players? I mean, Charles Oakley is known.
But you know what? The difference is they weren't wearing a tuxedo, and it wasn't awards night. Yeah. So I read on the way, coming up here, that people now, the Academy, they're saying that they actually asked him to leave after it happened, and he refused. Which I'm questioning, because, okay, so y'all didn't then a part of this is on y'all. So if y'all asked him to leave and he refused, y'all let him stay. Y'all let him. Ain't nobody.
I mean, what can they really do? I mean, security's not gonna come and put their hands on him.
But they gotta then say, we let him stay.
Excuse me, but here's
we
the thing.
let him stay.
Where was security when he walked up there? So
but you wouldn't have expected
listen,
this.
If
Kanye were there, they would have had the security, because we've seen it, so we expect
nobody expect that.
You wouldn't have expected. You would have put guards by Will Smith.
I'm gonna say this. You know what? Now we need to have security everywhere, anywhere, for everything. Because this ain't the first time Will done smacked somebody over some misguided disrespect.
Yeah, he got the guy on it.
There was a time he was on the red carpet in Europe. I want to say France.
Yeah.
There was a guy that was this jackass kind of dude that was his shtick to, kiss people in the mouth, rub them, do all kind of goofy. He was like the jackass of France. He kissed Will Smith in the mouth. And when I tell you Will Smith bashed him straight in his
little backhand. He looked up a bow.
Little backhand, little bow to take that with you.
Yeah,
take that with you. So quiet as it's kept, if you want the keeping it real, Will Smith he got another side that will come out if you disrespect him.
Yeah.
And it's again, it just it smothers all the other stuff that happened, all the other stuff, the great, and not just with the awards, but finally, Sleepy Joe did something for the people.
Finally.
Oh, the anti-lynching?
Yeah, it only took 200 years. I mean, only.
I mean, I know he 200, but he wasn't.
Yeah, well, it only took
every
200
president in office had the opportunity to do it, and nobody did.
Yeah,
but this is my thing too. Even with that, like, okay, thanks for passing it, but people don't even know how to tie rope no more. So you gonna pass the bill when they don't even know how to lynch.
Yeah, but there's
people. Lynching is all. Who know how to tie a noose knot?
Plenty of the white boys. Listen,
they still know how to tie rope.
They still
listen. Them white boys, they got not. Listen,
rope tying ain't even in style no more.
Listen, yeah.
But is it?
But you know what?
It's not just
ropes and lynching.
Right.
Yes,
that's what I was going to say.
I'm going to say that it extends to racially motivated attacks or killing someone for racial animus. You know what I mean? Like if you're like racially attacking someone,
like the Asian hate,
right? It's the same thing. Yeah. I mean, and everybody is subject to anti-lynching. It's broad. It's not just black people. It's hey, you're a Mexican dude and you come across the border with they string you up and they do something to attack you, and it's not just for black people. That's for the crime itself of attacking somebody and it's racially motivated. Right. So I think that's a good thing. And it took long enough, and and anybody, and there were 3 people that voted against it.
You're like, of course,
just think about that. But
for real,
but
of course they did.
They were down to send them crack pipes out. I mean, what kind of president says, it's a good idea? I'm gonna give out 38 million crack pipes.
I haven't done my research on that one, so I can't comment.
This is real. It was supposedly to
It's for addicts to wean themselves off and
not do the hypodermic needles.
I thought they were giving them needles. Was it needles or was it actual
crack pipes?
Needles are available in certain areas.
Yeah, no, I saw online an actual dude who got it's a package.
They're the package.
It's a package.
Oh my God!
It's just saying, the crystal meth and the other stuff, and then,
I got my package of pipes.
I'm like, what does this? I'm just done. I'm
Tyrone's Bigum's package of pipes.
Trying to get off heroin? You trying to stop heroin? Hit this.
Look at you, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And this miracle money they found for the Ukrainian people.
It ain't miracle. There's money. But this is the thing, and this is on black people. We don't pool our resources and demand things for our vote. We don't vote. We vote in a block, but we don't bargain for what we have. We don't pool our resources. We ain't create no PACs. We don't go to the table with a legitimate list and get on the same page to say, if we don't get these up front, you won't get our vote.
Yeah, because we slapping people at the Oscars.
But then when you try, I mean, it was the wrong guy. Ice Cube. He actually wrote up something very
But that's negating what? No, that's one person speaking on behalf of other people and not asking nobody except the ones in his circle. I'm talking about us, the major players getting together.
But he did it. I get what you're saying, but he had
Ice Cube. I don't want Ice Cube speaking on behalf of me.
He had the balls enough to do it. Who else is going to speak on our behalf? Because half of these dudes is on the payroll.
And so again, that's the
payroll.
Even if you're not on the payroll,
they're not going to go hard.
If regular black people put in $20 into a PAC, you will end up with millions of dollars.
They did. It's called a susu.
I'm dead right now.
But you got to the susu, and you didn't get your turn. So then what? Now what?
Oh my God! Not the susu.
Not the susu. No, I'm saying we gotta be smarter as a collective, especially as more black people are out here getting money and making moves and being loud. The fact that we have not attempted to, we don't got no PAC
There's no Black Heritage Foundation. There's no Federalist Society for Black folk, and we need to buy our politicians like everybody else does.
Every other demographic.
And Claude, what's his name? Dr. Claude Anderson said the same thing. He was like, look, to invoke change, you need to first buy your politicians like everybody else does. I mean, when you look at right now, the fact that we are suffering through these horrible ass gas prices because we're a country dependent on oil. If all these climate change denying folks wasn't in office, you can get off of oil. You can get off of oil.
Yeah, people have too much of a stake
and people have too much of a stake. There's a big ass state called Texas. There's West Virginia. They got all these places, Louisiana, that have all that oil and stuff, and they buy their politicians. Do not vote for this.
If we need to pool our resources, and if we don't, we're going to continue to be stuck in the same cycle. Even if we pool them locally,
we're going to keep doing the same thing.
Because we ain't doing our job.
Promise who come in.
But they don't
promise.
promise.
They come to a couple of black services, a couple of churches. Hey, I'm down.
They promise for
black
free.
If you don't vote. Yeah.
That's it. They promise for free.
But again, that's what Ice Cube was saying. Like,
Ice Cube.
You can't, but that's what he was saying. If you actually listen, he was saying like, yo, we giving up our vote for nothing. He was like, yo, we got to get something for what you're saying. I'm sorry. It's what he was saying.
No. And I understand that.
Exactly. At least he had the balls.
The messenger does matter. The messenger, it does matter.
Why? Because he said,
why? I don't want somebody who was not single-handedly, but was one of the people responsible for the whole bitches and hoes movement in regards to rap music and black women to be speaking on behalf of me. So, I don't want him at the front of my table. Why would I pick Ice Cube to be at the head of my table?
Let me ask you this. People can't evolve.
They can evolve, but that don't mean that I still want him at the head of my table.
But would you rather have him? Would you rather have him, or would you have one of these sellout black leaders that we have?
Like who?
I don't say no names.
Well, I already done drug Q.
But they everywhere.
Look, and I respect him for everything that he tried to do. I get it. However,
nobody else is doing it. If somebody else was doing it, they'd have found something about him.
People were doing it. People have always been having these conversations. It's just the fact that Ice Cube has more of a name, so people are more likely to listen to him.
And that's what we need.
But why didn't he then pull other people in that have the actual history of doing the work?
He understands the dynamic that half of them people with the history of doing the work have sold us out, sold us under, sold us over.
But he
understands that. He understands that. Okay. And I understand that. I won't say no names again, but we know.
No, name names.
But we know. Again, I'm just saying I respect a person that says, I'm gonna put my name and I'm gonna at least put my neck on the line and go out there and face the humiliation, whatever, because I've been looking and I haven't seen anyone really do anything or try to attempt anything, whatever. I haven't seen these dudes when Orange Boy was in office and went up in there supposed to doing that, and they ended up praying over him. Man, come on, like
I wasn't down for that
at all. And this is what I'm saying. They start off that way, but at the end of the day, they get slapped that dollar. And I'm sorry to say it. Some of our people are leaders. They own the take. and they're there for our demise to lead us even further down the road of destruction.
There's always gonna be what was Samuel Jackson's character in Django? What was his name? I'm trying to remember the character.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The slave.
Yeah, he was always gonna be. There's always there's always those groups of people in the community that's gonna, Candace Owens gonna sell us out, bro.
Yeah.
She gonna sell us out.
It's just about finding a good messenger. Listen,
Yeah.
Martin Luther King Jr. didn't happenstance into that role.
No.
A lot of the reason for the positioning was because of who he was, what he had, assets. He didn't own his own home, so they if he was getting caught up, they couldn't take anything from him. There were things behind the scenes that put him in that position. So the same thing can be done. It's just, again, what are we going to do?
Hey, man.
Because every time election season comes, we be mad. But then we ain't do nothing.
I'm speaking of politicians. I'm gonna have to give Gavin Newsom a prop. I'm gonna have to give Gavin Newsom a prop. He's trying to get us them reparations. They had a committee. They got a study committee.
Well, I think they passed the bill. I think they passed it.
Well, he passed the
I
bill.
think Gavin trying to make tampons free too. He for us.
Listen,
we don't know what Gavin gonna do.
Gavin Newsom has at least set up a commission to look into they're looking over it now. Of course, the Negroes are arguing about who actually should get reparations.
It said if you can prove your lineage.
You can prove.
And you know what's going to happen? A lot of black folks going to be mad when they realize that they're Native American.
Then they should go. Then I think that's a good thing. And once you find out, you can then go to casinos and get that Indian money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but that can be debated too, because that's the conversation of what kind of Native, because people say black people are the original Native Americans, but then are they going by that definition, or are they going by the American definition of Native American? Because if they are, then most black people are not that version of Native American.
The original Native American.
They're not gonna let that happen.
Yeah.
Because they have to rewrite history and tell
the
the truth.
You have Europeans that have tied to that money that you're talking about, who made a deal back in the 1800s that allowed them to get in, a deal they made with the natives then that allowed them to, it was either 18 or 1900s, that allowed them to get that reparational money, or that money get money to college, all that stuff, man. I know a couple of white cats. I'm like, you have not one iota of native anything in you, period. And it's what they're doing.
Well, I'm not going to hold my breath on reparations in general, because the same thing happened back with the Freedmen's Bureau. After the enslavement, the Freedmen's Bureau was set up to help blacks who came out of enslavement with literally nothing, which was all of them, most of them. And then poor white people got so angry and upset because they were still poor. They weren't getting any assistance, and they saw ex-slaves getting it, and they literally dismantled the Freedmen's Bureau. Because they were mad. So the same thing.
That was at Howard University.
The same thing. Because
it was called Freedmen's College. That's how.
With the Howard, the teachers, the school for teachers and preachers.
It was called Freedmen's College. It was
teachers and preachers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Yeah. Well, that was
General Howard.
That was that was interesting. It was interesting to see what's gonna happen, what's gonna take place in the future with Will Smith, with all the stuff that's going on. And we want you to continue to tune in right here. Go right to the bottom, hit that like, that subscribe button.
Right there.
Right on the bottom, right on the bottom. Buddy Lewis, tell them where they can find you.
At my mama house? No. You can find me on at therealbuddylewis.jokes.com on Instagram, Buddy Lewis Jokes on Facebook and Twitter.
You can find me at Kennelia on all social media, and also adding too, no disrespect to Ice Cube, but again, no shade. Like, he's a great guy, but whatever. At Kennelia on social media.
Much love, Cube. All right.
Love you.
You can follow me at Flex A For Real on IG. You can follow me as Flex Alexander on Instagram, Flex A For Real on TikTok, and Flex A For Real on Memo, MEMMO. If you want to get a shout out for your business, for birthday, for whatever, Look me up on Memo and I shout you out. Y'all take care and we'll see you soon.
Guess who ain't gonna be in the new Fridays?
We're gonna be in them anyway.